Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ridgetop Yoga Retreat. If you're just joining in, get into a comfortable seated position, and you might want to have a few blocks handy or a few books for some of the poses. And also, if you want to have a blanket to sit on to place your hips up higher, and for some of the kneeling poses, it'll give you some cushioning. You'll just want to roll the blanket up and place it under your seat, and it really helps open up the hips when you're seated. And make sure you have a water bottle close by, and just get into a comfortable seated position and begin to relax your body and calm your mind. And we'll get started in a few minutes. And just begin to take deep breaths in through your nose and exhale out through your nose. Starting from the crown of your head, working your way down your body, relaxing the body. Noticing if there's any tension in any part of your body. Try to release that tension by breathing into that area. And with each inhale, make sure you really fill your lungs up with air. And then slowly exhaling out through your nose, completely empty your lungs. With each inhale and exhale, see if you can get a little bit more relaxation in the body. And focusing on your breath will bring you inward. So if you have any thoughts that come into your mind, focusing on your body, focusing on your breath will help you with that. It'll bring you inward and you'll concentrate more. And just gently place your hands on your lap. Your shoulder blades are back and down. You're grounding down through your sit bones. A slight bow to your head. And take a deep inhale in through your nose. And hold. And slowly exhale out through your mouth. We're going to do two more. Take a deep inhale in through your nose. And slowly exhale out through your mouth. And one more deep inhale. And hold. And slowly exhale out through your mouth. And just go back to your regular breath, inhaling and exhaling. And now we'll get started with our practice. If a pose doesn't feel right during practice, just come out of the pose and wait for the next one. You don't want to feel a sharp pain. Stretch pain is okay, but if something doesn't feel right, just come out of the pose and wait for the next one. This is your practice, so do what feels right for you today. And we'll start. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead, elongate the spine, reaching out through your fingertips, engaging your core. Turn your palms facing out and slowly exhale your arms back down by your side. Inhale, reach up, arms overhead. And exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat. And one more deep inhale, really reach up, lengthen the spine. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Slight bow to your head. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, you can do that now. Then take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And exhale, release your hands back down to the mat. And gently bring your chin to your chest. Feel the stretch up the back of the neck. Taking a few inhales and exhales, releasing that tension. And then on your next inhale, take your gaze up towards the sky, drawing a straight line with your nose up towards the sky. Opening the throat, you can open your mouth slightly, feeling the stretch in the neck. And then exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, take your gaze up towards the sky. And exhale, chin to chest. Do 2 more with your own breath, inhaling and exhaling. And then bring your chins to your chest, leave it there. And inhale, slowly inhale your left ear, rolling it towards your left shoulder. And exhale, chin to chest. Gentle movement, inhale, left ear, left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Gentle movement. And then on your next inhale, roll your right ear towards right shoulder and exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, right ear, right shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. And on your next inhale, make a complete circle, inhaling on the way up and exhaling forward and down, being careful not to pinch the back of your neck. If this is uncomfortable, just leave your chin to chest. And then we'll do 2 rounds in the opposite direction, inhaling up and exhaling down. And then we'll meet back in neutral spine. And just place your hands on your knees. And we're going to go into shoulder rolls. So inhale your shoulders forward and up. And then exhale, bring them around, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, around and down. Really trying to get those shoulder blades together. And then we'll go in the opposite direction, inhaling back and up, exhaling forward and down. And then we'll come back to neutral spine. And we're going to extend our arms out in front of us, really reaching out through your fingertips. Place your palms facing up. You're lengthening your spine, engaging your core here, and really reaching out, engaging your arms. We're inhaling and reaching out, lengthening our arms. And on the exhale, just bring your fingertips to your shoulders. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fingertips to your shoulders. Matching your breath to your movement, and you're really keeping your arms engaged here. Working the arms, keeping your arms strong. And next time your fingertips are on your shoulders, leave them there. And we're going to inhale, open your elbows out to the sides. And exhale, bring your elbows together in front of you. Inhale, opening up the chest, lifting the heart. Exhale, bring your elbows together. Next time your elbows are together, leave them there. And then we're going to make circles with the elbows. So we're going to inhale the elbows up and around and exhale the elbows back and down. So you're making big circles with your elbows. Inhale forward and up. Exhale back and down. Really trying to get those shoulder blades together. Working the shoulders. And then we'll do 2 rounds in the opposite direction. Inhaling back and up. Exhaling forward and down. And then release your arms to your side. Shake it out. And take a deep inhale. Reach your arms up overhead. Lengthen the spine. On the exhale, bring your right hand to left knee, left hand behind your left glute. Really lengthening your spine. And on the exhale, just twist looking over your left shoulder. Take a few deep breaths here. See if you can get deeper into the twist with each inhale and exhale. Then release the twist. Inhale your arms up overhead. And exhale, left hand, right knee. Right hand behind you. Lengthening the spine. On the exhale, take your gaze over your right shoulder. You're twisting from the rib cage, not from the neck. And with each inhale and exhale, see if you can get a little bit deeper into the twist. Then release the twist. Inhale your arms up overhead. And exhale, slowly release your hands back down to the mat. If you have a blanket you're sitting on, you can take that out now and put it to the side. We're going to go into staff pose, so your legs are out in front of you. Your feet are flexed, slight bend in the knees, grounding down through your sit bones. Your hands are by your side. We're just going to go into a forward fold. So inhale, lengthen your spine. And on the exhale, just begin to walk your hands forward for forward fold. You're engaging your core here, keeping your spine long. You're really trying to lengthen the spine, reach out through the crown of your head. Keep a straight back as long as you can. And then take an inhale, come up a little bit. And on the exhale, begin to forward fold. You're trying to release that tension in the low back. With each inhale and exhale, inhale, come up a little bit. And on the exhale, begin to forward fold. You have a slight bend in your knees. And then slowly walk your hands back up to center. And we're going to bring the sole of our right foot into our left thigh, opening up that right hip. Your left leg is straight, slight bend in that left knee. Keep your foot flexed. Engage your core, lengthen your spine. Take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, just begin to walk your hands forward to forward fold. You're folding over that left leg, breathing into your low back, keeping that right hip open. And slowly walk your hands back to center. Extend your right leg out. Bring the sole of your left foot into that right thigh, opening up the left hip. Keeping your right leg foot flexed, slight bend in that knee. Ground down through your sit bones, lengthen the spine. Take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, just begin to walk your hands forward for forward fold. With each inhale, come up a little bit. And on the exhale, see if you can fold a little bit more. Get a little bit deeper into the pose. And slowly walk your hands back up to center. And bring the soles of your feet together. And roll out your arches. If it's uncomfortable on your knees, you can bring your feet out a bit away from your body. If it's fine on your knees, then you can bring them a little closer to your body. Your hands are placed on your ankles or on your feet. We're going to begin to butterfly your legs out to the sides for bound angle pose. Opening up the hips. And then bring your legs to stillness. And take a deep inhale, lengthen your spine. And on the exhale, begin to hinge from your hips forward. Keeping a flat back as long as you can. You're reaching out through the crown of your head. You're going to feel the stretch in the inner thighs. And when you get halfway, stop there. Engage your core. Pull your belly button in. And just take a few deep breaths here. And then slowly roll back up to center and bring your knees in. And we're going to go into tabletop onto all fours. So you can place a blanket under your knees if you need it, cushion under your knees. So you want to make sure your hips are directly over your knees and your shoulders are over your wrist. And the tops of your feet are pressing into the mat. Your core is engaged here. We're going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. So on the inhale, drop your belly, take your gaze up. And then on the exhale, round your spine and tuck your chin. And bring in your pelvis forward, really creating space between you and the mat. Inhale, drop your belly, take your gaze up for cow. Exhale, tuck your chin and really round your spine. Match your breath to your movement. Inhaling and exhaling. Now we'll come back to neutral spine. And we're going to inhale, extend that right foot back, going on to the ball of your foot. And just gently rock back and forth, loosening up the calf. And then come to stillness. And you're pressing that left foot into the mat. You're pressing the ball of the right foot into the mat. Keeping your leg engaged. Engage your core here. And take a deep inhale and raise that left arm up towards the sky. So you want a straight line from your right hand to your left. You're pressing through the ball of that right foot. Your gaze can be forward, or you can take your gaze up, looking at your fingertips here. Then bring your hand back down to the mat, your knee back down, Roll out that right wrist. And then inhale, extend your left foot back, going onto the ball of the foot. And just gently rock back and forth, loosening up the calf, the ankle, your feet, your toes are spread. And then come to stillness. And inhale, extend that right arm up towards the sky. Your gaze can be forward or looking up towards that right hand. Take a few deep breaths here. Then bring your hand back down to the mat, your knee back down. Roll out that left wrist. Now we're going to take a few deep breaths in child's pose, so your knees are a little wider than hip distance apart. Your big toes are overlapping. Shift your hips back towards your feet and slowly lower your torso down between your knees, bringing your forehead down to the mat. Your arms are out in front of you. If it's uncomfortable on your shoulders, bring them back behind you. And just take a few deep breaths here. Now we're going to come up to our knees for gate pose. Now we're going to extend our right foot out to the side of the mat, and you're on the left knee. We're going to take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead, and on the exhale, bring your right hand down towards your right foot. Left arm is over your left ear. You're reaching towards the right. You're feeling the stretch in that left hip. Take a few deep breaths here. You're engaging your core. You can have a blanket under this knee if you want. Then inhale back up to center. And on the exhale, bring that left hand down to the mat, and your right hand is over that right ear, reaching towards the left. If it's hard for you to go down to the mat, you can bring the mat up to you by placing a block under that left hand. You have a straight line from your right foot to your left, or to your right fingertips. Now you can stay here, or we're going to go into a dynamic movement. So you're pressing that left foot into the mat. And for the dynamic movement, we're going to raise that right foot up and bring the right hand up straight towards the sky. Then place it back down to the mat. You're just going to raise it up and down. Inhale and exhale. You're really engaging your core here. You can always stay in this position, or you can go into a dynamic movement. And then next time your foot's on the ground, we're going to come back up to center. So use your core. Inhale, come back up to center, and exhale, release your hands back down by your side. So if you needed a block, you can put it on your right side now, because we're going to go into the same movement on the other side. So extend your left foot out to the side, pressing into that right foot. Your sole of the left foot is parallel with the back of the mat. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up, lengthen the spine, engage your core. Exhale, bring that left hand down towards your left foot. Bring that right hand over the right ear. Reaching towards the left, you'll feel the stretch in that right hip. And inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, bring your right hand down to the mat. Left arm is over that left ear. You have a straight line from your left foot to your left fingertips. Engage your core here. Make sure your shoulder blades are stacked over each other. You're not turning towards that right hand. And then if you want to add on, you can do the dynamic reverse gait movement. So take a deep inhale, raise that left foot and left arm, and exhale, come back down to the mat. Inhale and exhale, matching your breath to your movement, working on balance here. Just do what's comfortable for you. And then next time your foot's on the mat, leave it there. Engage your core. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, release your hands back down to the mat. We're going to take a few deep breaths in puppy pose. So your hips are over your knees. We're going to come down to tabletop. And then keep your hips high over your knees. And just walk your hands forward for puppy pose. You can bring your forehead down to the mat. If that's comfortable, you can try to get your chest down to the mat. And just take a few deep breaths here. Now we're going to come back up to our knees, and we're just going to go into half camel. So place your hands on your low back, press your feet into the mat, and just press your hips forward and take your gaze up. It's a slight back bend for half camel. And then we're going to sit on the mat, place your feet. This is getting you ready for reverse plank. So your legs are straight out on the mat. Your hands are behind your glutes. Your fingertips are facing your glutes. And engaging your core here, we're going to take a deep inhale and just lift your hips up towards the sky. So the soles of your feet are on the mat. Be careful of your neck. Your gaze is up towards the sky. But you're really engaging your core here, strengthening your arms and lifting your hips up towards the sky for reverse plank. And then slowly lower back down to the mat. And then on the inhale, begin to lift your hips up, strengthening the arms. And exhale, come back down to the mat. And one more for reverse plank. Inhale, see if you can lift your hips. You're lifting your chest, your arms are strong. And then exhale back down to the mat. Bring your knees in. And we're just going to take a few deep breaths in child's pose. Now come back into tabletop, and we're going to go into our first downward facing dog. So we're going to flip our toes and hover our knees over the mat, about 6 inches. Really engage your core here. Pull your belly button in. And then slowly begin to shift your hips back
and straighten your legs. You can have a slight bend in your knees. You can pedal out your feet and go up on your toes and sink your heels down. Maybe shift your hips from side to side. And you're really pressing your hips high, pressing your chest towards your thighs, slight bend in the knees. Your head is between your arms. Then inhale, look up between your hands. And on the exhale, begin to walk your feet towards your hands or step forward for forward fold. You can hold opposite elbow to opposite hand and sway from side to side. Really trying to release the tension in that low back. Then release your hands and inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead, and exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. We'll take a few deep breaths in Tadasana and mountain pose. So your feet are hip distance apart, your shoulder blades are back and down, your palms are facing forward. Your eyes can be opened or closed. And we'll just take a few deep breaths here. Now we're going to go into our sun salutation B sequence. So come to the front of your mat. We're going to take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead, and take your gaze up towards your fingertips for a slight back bend. And then exhale, swan dive with a flat back as long as you can, forward fold. Then inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. Now, for the sun salutation B, they have, we are going to begin with chair. So for chair pose, you want to make sure that your feet can either be directly under your hips or your feet can be together, whichever's more comfortable for you. But when you're bending your knees for chair, you just want to make sure they don't go over your toes, that you can see your toes and your weight's on the back of your heel, like on the back of your foot. So you should actually be able to lift your toes when you go into chair. So just whatever is more comfortable for you, do when we go into chair. So we'll start at the front of our mat and take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead, slight back bend, looking towards the sky. And then we're going to exhale and sit into chair. So you should be able to see your toes. Your arms are at a 45-degree angle. Your knees are level, not one knee is in front of the other. Engage your core here, really engage your thighs. And you're reaching out through your fingertips. If it's uncomfortable on your shoulders, bring your hands to heart center. Now inhale, reach up, arms overhead. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. So your hands are on your calves or on your thighs, whatever gives you the flat back from your low back to the crown of your head. Now we're going to exhale to plank. So plant your hands and step back to plank. Engage your core. Make sure your shoulders are over your wrist.
You're pressing through the ball of your feet. Your legs are engaged. If it's uncomfortable, you can do modified plank and go to your knees. Whichever is more comfortable for you. So we're going to flow through now. We're going to bring our chin and chest down to the mat between our hands. Flip your toes and press up for cobra. Shoulder blades are back and down, and your gaze is straight ahead. Exhale back down to the mat. Flip your toes, push back to downward facing dog. Make sure your hips are high. Your weight on your fingertips, not on your wrist. Maybe you can go up on your toes, sink your heels down a bit more. Inhale, look up between your hands. And exhale, walk or step forward, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release. So we're going to do 2 more sun salutations. If you want to stop before that, you can go into Tadasana and just focus on your breath. So wherever you're at is fine. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead, and exhale, chair. See if you can get a little bit deeper into the chair. Check your knees, make sure they're level. Your weight's on the back of your feet. You should be able to lift your toes. Then slowly come up and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. And exhale, plank. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Engage your core, pull your belly button in, strong arms. You can come to your knees and flip your feet if you want. And then with control, making sure your pelvis doesn't drop first to hurt your back. With control, bring your chin and chest down, elbows by your side. Flip your toes and press up for cobra. Shoulder blades are back and down. You're pressing through the palms of your hands. No tension in your low back. And your toes are pointed back. Exhale back down to the mat. Flip your toes. Push back to downward facing dog. Inhale, look up between your hands. Exhale, walk or step forward, forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release. And we're going to do 1 more. It's going to be a little faster this time. So come to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach up, hands overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plank. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Engage your core. Make sure your shoulders are over your wrist. Then with control, slowly lower your chin and chest down to the mat. Flip your toes, press up for cobra. Exhale back down to the mat. Flip your toes, push back to downward facing dog. Inhale, look up between your hands. Exhale, walk or step forward, forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. We'll take a few deep breaths in Tadasana.
in mountain pose if you want to get a drink of water. And just bring your focus to your breath. Now we're going to go into a balancing pose. We're going to go into figure 4. Or one-legged chair it's called. So you want to get a focal point out in front of you, find your drishti, and just make sure that your weight is evenly distributed on both feet. And now we're going to just shift our weight into that left leg and put a slight bend in that left knee. And then when you're ready, bring that right foot, right ankle over that left knee. You're opening that right hip. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center and just focus on that stationary point. Each day is different. Your balance each side is different. And just focus on that point. Really engage your core here. You're engaging your legs. And then if you want to bend that knee a little more, sit a little more into that figure 4, you can. You can straighten that leg and come forward, bring your hands down to the mat. This is really working on balance. You can come back up. Mine's a little off today. And then bring your hands back to center. And then just place that foot back down to the mat. Shake it out. And then we'll try the other side. This side might be a little better, might be a little worse. So make sure your weight's evenly distributed. And then just begin to shift your weight into that right leg. Put a little bend in that right leg. Then bring your left ankle over that right knee. And you're really engaging your core here and engaging your legs. When you find balance, bring your hands to heart center. You can work on bending that knee a little more of the standing leg. Make sure you keep that left hip open. And you can stay here, or if you want to straighten that leg, working on balance, coming down to the mat. And then bending that knee, coming back up. And then when you're ready to come out, bring the knee forward and down. We'll shake it out and take a few deep breaths in Tadasana and mountain pose. Now we'll come to the front of our mat. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead, slight back bend, feet are together. Take your gaze up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. And now we're going to exhale to plank. Plant your hands, step back to plank. This is the last plank. You can come to your knees. And we're going to slowly lower down to the mat with control. Now we're going to go into crocodile pose, which is also a resting pose. So your toes are pointed to the corners of the mat. You're going to stack your forearms over each other and just place your forehead on your forearms. This is a great resting pose and breathing pose. So your chest is slightly lifted, but your hips are pressed into the mat. So we'll take a few deep breaths here.
And now we're going to go into Superman pose. So your arms are out in front of you and your toes are pointed back. And we're going to alternate first opposite arm to opposite foot. So your forehead will be on the mat, and we're going to lift our right hand, right arm, and left foot. So your toe is pointed and you're reaching out through your fingertips and slightly lifting your head. So, or you can keep your forehead actually on the mat, which would be easier. So you're going to lift and then slowly release it back down to the mat. And then left arm, right leg. Lift. We're going to hold it for a second. Couple breaths here and release. Inhale, right arm, left leg. You're keeping a long spine, reaching out through your toes, legs engaged, reaching out through that right hand. And then bring it back down to the mat. Left arm, right leg. And then release it back down to the mat. Now you can continue doing one arm and one leg, or you can do them both at the same time for Superman pose. So we're going to take a cleansing breath, inhaling and exhaling, and then we'll go into Superman. So take a deep inhale and then slowly exhale. Now inhale, and you're going to lift your head off the mat. Your gaze is straight forward. Your toes are pointed and you're reaching through your fingertips. You're squeezing your glutes here, pressing your hips into the mat. And then exhale everything back down to the mat. And we're going to do 2 more of these. So inhale, lift. And exhale, release. And one more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. Now we're going to take a few deep breaths in crocodile pose again. So your toes are at the corners of the mat. Stack your forearms over each other and place your forehead on your forearms. Take a few deep breaths here. Now we're going to try a new pose, bow pose, which is also part of the back bend series we've been working on today. So if you can't, we're going to bend our our feet towards our buttocks. If you can't reach both feet or both ankles, that's fine. Just try reaching one at first. So take your right hand and see if you can reach your right ankle or right foot, the front of your right foot, and you're on the forearm of your left arm. And if you can do that, if you can't reach your ankle or your foot or your pant leg, then that's fine. You can maybe get a strap later, try it at home. Try it on your own, but you should be able to reach an ankle to reach back. If you can do that, and if you can place your hand around the front of your foot, you're pressing that foot into that right hand. And if that's comfortable, try to reach your left hand back to your left foot. So you're bringing your feet towards you. Raise your chest up, arch your back. Your shoulder blades are back. And if that's comfortable, see if you can begin to raise your legs up for bow pose. So you're pressing your hips into the mat. You're pressing your feet into your hands to raise those legs up. And it's just a gentle movement. If it hurts your back, do not do this if you have back problems. And just your gaze is forward for bow pose. Maybe you can lift your thighs up off the mat a bit. Your gaze is forward. And then gently release your legs down to the mat. Release your feet. And we're just going to press back into child's pose. So your knees are wider than hip distance apart. Big toes overlapping. And just take a few deep breaths here. Now we'll come to seated position, and we're going to do a counter pose. We'll come to staff pose. Take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, just begin to walk your hands forward for forward fold. Slight bending your knees. In everyday life, we're normally leaning forward or sitting at our desks leaning forward. We never really arch our back like you do in back bends. So it's good to get the spine to relieve tension in the spine. Doing a back bend, it relieves anxiety. And slowly walk your hands back to center. And we're going to come down to the mat. We're going to lay flat on the mat. Feet hip distance apart, your knees forward. And we're just going to place our right ankle over our left knee. And gently press on that right thigh, opening up that right hip. And then interlace your fingers behind your left thigh, bringing that left knee towards you. Your feet are flexed, and extend your left foot up towards the sky for a reclined pigeon. So you're keeping that right hip open, your feet are flexed, you're pulling that left thigh in towards your body. Take a few deep breaths here. Then release your hands, bring that left foot back down to the mat. Keeping your right ankle over that left knee and that hip open. Extend your arms out to the sides. Take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, just begin to roll onto that left hip. Bringing your right foot down to the mat, and take your gaze over your right fingertips. So you're going to feel the stretch in that right hip. Then come back up to center. Bring that right foot back down to the mat. Bring your left ankle over the right knee, and just gently press on that left thigh, opening up that left hip. And then when you're ready, interlace your fingers behind your right thigh and raise your right foot up towards the sky, keeping the left hip open, keeping your feet flexed. Maybe bringing that right leg in towards your body a little more.
Feel the stretch in that hip. Then release your hands. Bring that right foot back down to the mat. Extend your arms out to the side. And then take a deep inhale and slowly roll onto that right hip, bringing your left foot down to the mat, keeping your shoulder blades flat on the mat, and taking your gaze over your left fingertips. Inhale your back up to center. Bring your hands by your side. Release your foot back down to the mat. Hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. When you're ready, extend your feet up towards the sky. You can point and flex your feet. And we did a workshop last week on a shoulder stand and plow. So if you did that workshop or you have shoulder stand or plow in your practice, you can do that now. Just be careful when you do shoulder stand. You do not turn your head. You look straight ahead and you have control. So for shoulder stand, your elbows, you're pressing down on your elbows, lifting up. You have a straight line from your hips to your ankles. You tuck your arms under, pressing into your arms, but they're not holding you up. And then for plow, you bring your toes back down to the mat and your arms are flat on the mat. There is a workshop video. When you're in this, do not turn your head. You're pressing your arms into the mat. And then to come out of it, place your hands on your low back. Bend your knees and slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. Hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. And then we'll go into happy baby. So bend your knees towards your chest. Soles of your feet are facing the sky. You can either hold the outsides of your feet or your big toes. Knees are bent. Your elbows are on the inside of your knees. And you can rock from side to side if you're comfortable. And hug your knees into your chest. And we're just going to place the soles of our feet together for a reclined bound angle pose. So your knees are going to fall out to the corners of the mat, sides of the mat. Soles of your feet are together. And just place your arms slightly away from your body with your palms facing up. Tuck your shoulder blades under. And just bring your focus to your breath. Now you can stay here for Shavasana, or you can extend your legs out and let your feet fall out to the corners of the mat. And just bring your focus to your breath. Gently close your eyes. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. And remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Relax your chest, your upper arms, your forearms, all the way to the tips of your fingers. Relax your chest, your abdomen, your hips. Relax the front of your thighs, your knees, your shins. Relax your ankles, the tops of your feet, all the way to the tips of your toes. Relax the soles of your feet, the backs of your calves, the backs of your thighs. Relax your low back, mid back, and upper back. Relax the back of your shoulders, the back of your neck, all the way to the crown of your head. Continue your breath past the crown of your head, all the way past the tips of your toes. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes and move your head from side to side. And when you're ready, roll on to your favorite side. With your eyes closed, come up to seated position. Hands at heart center, thumbs at your sternum, slight bow to your head. Every day you step onto your mat, it's a new day, a new start, a new beginning. And yoga is a journey, so thank you for sharing your journey with me today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you everybody for sharing in the practice today. Russian spring a little bit. I thought I could do the practice outside today. We've had some nice weather here in West Jefferson. I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions or any ideas, please send us a message. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Have a great day. Namaste.